entering into this space, did you see a lot of pushback when people had seen that, oh, she's Black? Can she really achieve the work that she can do? Episode of UnVeil. My name is Nicole Bozil, and on this platform, I interview women of color on discovering the beauty that lives and lies within them. We also take a closer look through their eyes on their interpretation of what they define as beautiful. My guest today is Star. Star is an esthetician and the owner of VV Suite. She specializes in waxing, Vajacials, V-steaming, as well as facials. Star has clients between the Los Angeles and San Francisco area. She has definitely earned the name the Vagina Whisperer because when booking with her, which is a 2-month wait, you will have smoother exfoliated skin. So without further ado, let's welcome Star.
Yeah. Yay, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Yes, I am honored that you are here. So just to kind of like take it back a bit, I found Star during the pandemic, which many of my lady friends throughout the shutdown were looking for someone of waxing needs. And when I was searching and in need of it, and I'm gonna keep in mind as like a hint and a clue for anyone that's on social media, hashtags work. Hashtags work, because that is how I found Star. I found her work first, and then to see the face behind the work, I was just like, oh my gosh, I got a book. But I'm gonna keep it, you guys noted that it's seriously like a 2-month wait because she's that good. So let us get into the first question of the day, or within our interview. On your journey becoming an esthetician and specializing in all that I had just addressed and listed, when did you make the decision to pursue this career, and how long have you been doing it?
So I've been an esthetician now, I would say about 11 or 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been doing it a long time. I pretty much got licensed when I was like 21. I was like, you know what? I want to see if I like this. I didn't really know which direction I was going at that point. I was in a like junior college, and I'm like, what do I want to do? And It's so funny because I never was like super into like beauty or anything like that. Not really.
Yeah. Okay.
Not really. I always was like, I did sports, I did choir, I did all that. So I never really did too much beauty. I never wore a lot of makeup until I turned like 19. Then I got like real into just like makeup and wanting to get into doing it. And people start telling me, oh, your makeup looks nice. So I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I want to do makeup. At that age, at 21, you really just kind of like,
you're kind of just figuring it out, right?
Exactly. I was about 19. And so once people start telling me, your makeup looks good, your makeup looks this, I'm like, well, maybe I want to do makeup. And that's what made me go to esthetician school, because I'm like, well, what are the steps that I would need to actually do makeup?
Yes.
And I learned that in order for you to work like in a salon doing makeup, you had to be licensed. And that license was called an esthetician. Because 11, 12 years ago, I hadn't even never heard the word esthetician, if I'm going to be honest.
Right.
I've heard of cosmetologist.
You have to have a license to do, well, I know skincare for sure, right? But as far as like makeup artistry, you have to have license
in salons, and that was 12 years ago. Yeah, in salon. Now you could be just a freelance.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a million. You could be a freelance makeup artist. Or so, if you want to work in salons, and that also could have changed at this point. But back then, that was that's what I learned. So in order to do it, you needed to be licensed to do it in salons. And I'm like, okay, cool. Nowadays things are different, girl. These days everything's different.
I know, it is crazy. I mean,
you get cute pictures of your work and put them on the gram, you are now really a makeup artist. You know what I mean? Right, exactly. No shade, just saying things have changed.
Yes.
Different ball game,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it. Funny enough, I don't wear no makeup basically now. I'm real plain Jane, little purple lip,
Yes.
some lashes. That's about
Mhm.
it.
And how did you navigate from makeup to like now funneling it down to, you know what, I'm gonna do waxing. Like that's like my specialty.
When I was in beauty school, I just was really good at it. Everybody would come to me to do the waxing for them. Like people would be like, "Oh no, I'm gonna just let Star do me," and like I was like, oh, "Okay, so I guess I had a knack for it, back then."
Mhm.
And then I still, when I finished, I still wanted to pursue makeup at this point. So I didn't go into waxing. I moved to LA from San Francisco, right outside of beauty school.
Okay.
And then I pursued makeup. Like I want to do makeup on sets and stuff like that,
Okay, yeah.
and like
Mhm.
movie sets and all that fun stuff. Because originally I used to want to sing. I said I was in choir as a kid. So I said, oh, I can move to LA and sing. Then I got out here and I started I'm like, no, I don't really want to sing. But I also knew that makeup would also could get me
In
into doing
space.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it happens. It can happen where it can be just a shift.
exactly. So
Mhm.
that was what I was thinking. I'm like, both of those, because I knew I wanted to move to LA. I knew it was always close enough from home to
Yes,
home, but far enough. Like, so if people need me, I can make it.
yes.
But I could also have my space. So I always knew I wanted to move to LA since I was real little. Um,
Mhm.
so I knew makeup could get me down here, and that's what I did. But I got here and I saw that I didn't really like doing makeup on sets. It was very demanding. It was long days, very long days.
Mhm.
Depending on what type of set it was, people were professional or unprofessional.
Mhm.
Uh, it was just a lot of that stuff, and I just didn't like it. And that's when it came down to, I was like, well, you know what? What I want to still use this license that I just like went
Mhm.
to school for and did all this. So
Hard.
what else in this field can I do?
Mhm.
And then that's when it came to being like, well, you were really good at waxing in school.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what, I really was. So let me go ahead and I ended up working for a big wax company for
Okay.
years. And
Mhm.
that's kind of how that happened.
So, okay, so I want to ask you this because I find that in within that industry, when it comes to nails or even within your specialty of like waxing, that and I'm guilty of it as well, but I'm learning to shift. But my thing is just quality than anything else,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so when you're entering into this space, did you see a lot of pushback when people had seen that, oh, she's Black. Can she really achieve the work that she can do? You get what
Yeah.
I mean? And so I'm just curious, how did that feel? Was it difficult to be respected for your work?
It's so funny because yeah, it really was, when I first started working in the field, anytime I would get my clients, because like I said, I was working for companies. And so when I was working, I would come out and get my client, and I'm sure they did not know beforehand that I was going to be a Black girl. And this came from all races, even Black people. Everybody was just
That's what
like,
yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
from Black people, every type of race. So I don't feel like it was, but it was like everybody was just like, damn, okay. They're not, it was, I guess, more new, I'm guessing, because
Mhm.
literally, and a lot of the times in places that I worked, I was one of the only Black people on the team for a while. It started shifting, like, it definitely started shifting out. I saw towards like as time passed, but in the beginning, it was only me or like me and one other, me and maybe it like that. And so when I would come out, the face would always be like,
Yeah,
it's just like that. You sure? Are we
right.
type of thing? But that just always pushed me to go harder because
Oh,
nobody ever left out of my wax suite unsatisfied. I
yes.
always made sure that I I made sure everyone was taken care of, because you're not gonna don't doubt me, honey.
Okay.
I does what I does,
Yes, okay.
and that was definitely kind of, it always lit that fire. I kind of always would like do little contests for myself. I wonder if this person gonna feel this way.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's gonna be. But at the end of it, it was never, everybody always left satisfied. And that's kind of what mattered anyway. And hopefully it just helped them change their mindset of, just because I'm Black, I can't do the work, because I can.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you build your clientele. So when was the leap of saying, okay, I'm working for someone, to now I want to work for myself?
Like
And
I said,
what?
I was with the company that I was with them for about 5 years.
Okay.
And I grew from, I started just regular, then I became like the trainer there, then the head waxer, then the regional trainer. So I was flying places and training waxers and going to conferences and doing all these things. And it was wonderful. It was good. You know, I looking back, I don't have negative things to say about working for people, because at the end of the day, it was something to be said about showing up, doing my job, going home, and letting it go for the day.
Yes.
Turned into entrepreneur girl, and it's 24/7, so 365. You know, you
Right,
always
right.
definitely. But after being there and getting to the climbing to where I was, and even knowing all the things that I had been through, like I had gotten looked over for the promotion multiple times. And I was getting angry about that. And there were just things that I just did not agree with, and times that I just felt I was being treated unfairly. And just I got to that place of being like, you know what, I can do this for myself, if I'm being completely honest. You know, I was the hardest worker there. I was always there 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, sometimes waxing. And so to be, you know, when it gets to a point where you're being looked over for things, or you feel like you're not being paid what you would like to be paid and things, like it just got to a point where I was like, you know what, I need to start really putting the effort into working for myself. And I feel like I've always kind of wanted to work for myself,
But
no
it just
matter
that push. It was
yeah, exactly. Most certainly, for sure. It was just after, and then I had some family stuff happen. And once that happened, I felt like that was my door to being like, you know what, Star, do what needs to be done.
Yes, let me ask you something, Star, to piggyback off that. So, you know, we know the story of like Sophia from Nasty Gal, right? When she first started working on eBay and she was just trying to figure out, okay, I want to get out of this platform because I could possibly make my own, you know, my own cash flow. And so she figured out a way where I think she would, and quote me, I could be wrong, but she would slip like a separate entity of like, hey, this is my new website, follow this, to kind of gain her followers and kind of shift those clients to like her own platform. So how are you able to connect with your clients, because they're under their own, you know, databases saying, hey, I'm actually opening up my own business? Like, how does that work without crossing lines, if that makes any sense?
What it was in this business, your client, you get very close with your clients. How could you not? I'm literally waxing their very intimate parts. So these people become people who invite me to baby showers and weddings, and they bring me Christmas gifts, and they look out for my son. They like, so these become very close to me. So it wasn't even me needing to do that, because they were always following me anyway. You know what I mean? Like when I had my, you know, clients always found me on Instagram, clients always, but I did start promoting, hey, this is my new Instagram, because for me, what it turned into was I was living here in West Covina in the Los Angeles area. And then I had some family stuff come up and I had to go back to the Bay. And so it was such a funny thing, because at first my goal was just to leave, not work in Pasadena anymore, and just be in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But my clients were like, no, like it was just so much of, what if you just come like once every month? Or what if you do this? And there was all this abundance of, are you sure you have to go? And I was like, you know what? Because I wasn't sold just yet on going back home. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try. I'll see. Maybe I'll come every other week. Let me see if I can find a way that to make that work. And it was like that exact same day I found a location that was willing to let me rent like on a weekly basis. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to try it. And it turned into a whole year of me coming back and forth between Pasadena and in San Francisco, girl, for every single week. So literally 52 times in a year, I was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Like, how are you balancing that? Because you're a mom as well. So how did you balance doing that back and forth and still
Just a lot of family support, really. Yeah, like in Sanford, that's where all my family is, you know. So, and I don't have a big family, but very supportive, you know, for me. So, and they were happy to have us because we had been living in LA now at this point. So they were just happy to have me and my son back so much. So my mom, my grandmother, my sister, like everybody, I would be like, hey, I'm going for, 2 days a week. And in that 2 days, he was with Granny, he was with his aunt, he was with, always family, and they helped to make sure he stayed in school. And I've learned in this entrepreneurial journey, I plans. I'll be planning.
Oh, good.
And, I make sure, because when it comes to him, now the rest of my life, I'm on a swivel. Okay. When it comes to my baby, I have to make sure that he's taken care of, and especially because his father lives in Las Vegas. He's in another state.
Okay.
So I don't have family in Pasadena. So I have no one really out here. I have, my people, but not like that. So like when it comes out of my son, I'll be planning.
Okay. Yeah. Because he has to have, outside of your business, which is like you're acquiring new clients, you're figuring out a schedule, his space has to be controlled. Yes. Because then he can't feel that sense of chaoticness, because it's like, okay, is this normal? Like, or is this how I'm supposed to feel? Like, so it's great that you create that balance for him.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah.
And you're doing you're doing well. I mean, you clearly have an understanding and clear, concise vision of what you wanted, and you're playing it out and laying it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this. On my first time trying to get a wax, right? This was years ago, but my first time getting a wax, waxing is like very much trial and error. Like as far as finding the right esthetician and knowing what products actually work. And I realized for myself within my journey that hard wax works for me, because there have been some situations where I've used soft wax and my skin did not reacted to it fairly bad. So so what I want to delve into is trying to find and having an understanding when it comes to like women of color, because our hair is a bit more coarse. Would there be a better option versus the other, depending on which one you use, or is it just depending on the woman themselves, as far as like how they react, the sensitivity of their skin?
Everybody's different.
Okay.
I mean, in reality, everybody's different. Waxes are not all made equally either. For sure. For me, definitely, I'm a hard wax gal. That's how I like to service my clients. That's what I prefer on my skin. I have used other types, and for me, the ease of it is the least painful, and a lot of hard wax is made to be more comfortable on the skin.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's just my own preference, but yes, everybody's skin is differently. Some people do try to, some people are able to use other types of waxes, but everybody's skin is different for sure.
And do you see better results using a hard wax versus other waxes?
Yes, and on my clients, yes, because when I first started waxing, I used soft wax because there was just more of it on the market, which this is like 10 years ago. Now there's a million wonderful waxes on the market. So it's easy, but I do feel like hard wax is the best. And that's probably that at the company that I worked for all those years, that's what I got accustomed to, and I just loved it. So
You know what was so crazy is during the shutdown, there was like this wave of like necessity that was happening. So like, and me and my sister were having a conversation about that. And we were saying how like the first wave was just like, everybody wanted toilet paper and all like the house things that you needed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then the second wave came in where it was just like, okay, now I need hair color and I need polish and I went on Amazon and it was like, I was like, can I do a wax by myself? I went on Amazon, it was completely sold out. Like, I'm like, who's out here waxing on their own? And
so many people came to me telling me they tried waxing themselves. I was like, man.
Like, thank goodness they were sold out because I don't think I could even bear the fact of knowing how to do it on my own. But, you know, waxing is definitely something that is of an expense. So what would be like your recommendation of, you know, women who are at home, may not have the time or even the finances to be able to wax? Like, I mean, what are some other options you can say, hey, at home, you can do these things and still create maybe some smoother skin?
But always just still taking care of your skin is still going to be very important because the more you like exfoliate your skin at home and moisturize your skin, those are the two main things that at least maintain your skin being soft, your hair actually growing in soft. I don't recommend much more than maybe just keeping it trimmed down or something. Because if you're like breaking the skin or cutting it with razor and things like that, that's gonna a lot of the times cause more problems, more ingrown hairs, more bumps, breakouts, irritation. And a lot of people don't realize that shaving stimulates hair growth. So it still makes the hair grow in thicker anyway. You know, I always say that it's kind of like when you're trying to grow the hair on your head. What does your stylist always say? If you want your hair to grow, you gotta let it go. So cut your hair, it stimulates the hair to grow because your hair thinks, oh my God, what happened? I got cut. Grow as a defense mechanism, as opposed to, you know, leaving it, letting it do its thing, and just kind of making sure your skin is maintained, keep it trimmed down low. That's my recommendation. But you do some good skincare, some all natural skincare. That's really important as well. You know, this your girl. You don't want to be putting too much down there.
Right.
Be honest.
Right. Wait, okay. So this is a question that you probably, I don't know if people ask you this, but I know like I've read articles where, or actually, you know what? I actually was on a live and was another esthetician talking about when women or their clients come in and hygiene is not at the best level of when they're coming in to get waxes. So how do you, you know, as an esthetician, address your clients' hygiene with and be respectful at the same time and not make them feel, because it's already, we're in an intimate space, right? And we don't want to feel uncomfortable about, we're grown and we don't even know how to like take care of ourselves. But how do you, or what's some advice that you can give to someone who's starting and is like, how do I engage in this conversation and still be able to kind of keep this client as being repetitive?
I mean, it's always about using your better judgment, because for me, in my experience, 95% of women are pretty hygienic, you know, and most women aren't coming in here unhygienic. Mostly. I don't honestly, a lot of my clients, they come in and they do try to make sure that they're clean. So I always try to use my best judgment. Is it even worth me approaching? Is it something over the top? Now, sometime if it's over the top, I have a bathroom right here and I'm just like, you know, if you wouldn't mind, for whatever the reasoning is, you know, whatever it is. Other than that though, if it's not too bad, I just keep moving, because it's a lot of the times not worth making the client uncomfortable. Now, if they're on a cycle or something like that, now that's different. I provide sanitation tampons and wipes and different things like that for my clients. So because accidents happen, and you know, so I do provide that, and I'll let them know if that's necessary. But outside of that, unless it's something really over the top that I'm not gonna personally, I
Yeah.
let it roll. I finish people's Brazilians with about in about 15 minutes.
Yes.
I'm fine. I might
Okay.
add a little bit extra powder on them if it's a little, and keep
Yeah.
it, yeah, for me. Because like I said, it's not really worth the little 15 minutes that I, have to, it's not necessarily worth it to do so, like, so I just normally don't, oh, sorry.
It's
I
okay.
normally don't tend to speak about it. It has to be something that's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
detrimental.
like it has to be really to the extremities of feeling like,
Yeah, for
okay.
myself, that's why I always say it's best to always kind of utilize your best judgment.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. So when we were talking about beauty products, what beauty products are you using on a day-to-day basis for yourself? And then also, what do you recommend for your clients to use?
Well, for myself and for my clients, I make my own handmade all natural products.
Yes, I've
So
used it. I've used the turmeric bar stuff.
yes,
So yeah, it's good. It's
I
good.
was gonna say, did you like it?
Yes, I did.
The turmeric bar is my number one heavy hitter bestseller
Mhm.
product. I can't keep it on the shelf. That one's good. That was my favorite too,
Mhm.
because it works. Yeah, at the end of the day, it works for discoloration and dark marks and all that beautiful stuff. I have my little display back
I
here.
see it. I see it.
It's that turmeric bar we've been talking
Okay,
about.
plug in, plug in.
Right. So yeah, that's when it comes down to my skincare, I only use my stuff. I got to be a walking billboard for my stuff. I have
Mhm.
to. And if it works, it's all about if it worked, why not? So
Yeah.
I found products that I like using on myself. I always really liked the all natural approach. I always, well, once I learned about it, let's say
Yeah.
that. Obviously, because most of us grew up using a lot of the same stuff, Dove, things like that.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until I um got a little older and started, because I always had like bumps, breakouts. Like I was always that person because I was a shaver. I didn't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
most of us were. And then the thing about it is, being women of color, like we talked about, Black women, our hair been coarse,
Yeah.
thick, and I've always been her. Everything about I'm that 4C coarse
Yeah.
hair, and that's all over my body.
Yeah.
So I started wanting to figure out different ways to help my skin, stuff that had less chemicals. I started learning how chemicals also clog skin, how they can be more detrimental to the skin
Mhm.
than not. And that's some chemicals, because there are good chemicals out there and stuff like that, of course. But I just started learning, for me, I wanted to go the more holistic route.
Yes.
So I started doing more research on all natural products. What things do what for our skin, specifically my skin as a Black woman,
Mhm.
because it's nice that we're starting to see more of that on the market, but I definitely want to get my hand in on it as an esthetician, utilizing what I've learned over the years. And so I started researching and I started making stuff in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And
And I can totally agree with you on that because I know for myself, I create a balance when it comes to like, my skincare. Granted, I do use some of, I mean, everyone goes to Sephora, Ulta, whatever.
of
But
course,
I'm open to doing like an avocado mask or something that blends in something with honey or something at home, or aloe vera, getting actually the plant, because
yeah.
they do have they have results,
Yeah.
when you're using it, because there's nothing that is been added as an additive to
Yeah.
creating the product.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can agree with you on that. And I'm seeing more cleaner, healthier. I mean, it's even the food that you digest, right? Like it's like as soon as I turn to see the ingredients, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like 20 things on here, and half of them I don't even know how to say. So it's just like, so I totally see where you're saying, where it's just like, hey, if you keep it simple, a lot of times it can, create more. It will allow your skin to kind of breathe a little bit more than kind of what you're saying, clogging the pores and everything.
Right, exactly. And I believe in a balance as well. You know what I mean? I definitely. I definitely believe in a balance as well, figuring out what works for you. But definitely, especially if we're talking about our lady parts,
Yes.
keeping it the most natural, because we have to be careful because let's be honest, we sensitive, you know,
Yes.
it can get real, you know what I'm saying? It definitely can get it. And
Yes.
the wrong little bit of something, the wrong thing, and next thing you know,
It'll shift.
you off, girl. Next thing you know, the balance is off. So
Oh,
it's
right.
really, 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 really important to make sure that we use like more natural things when it comes down to what we're using in our vagina area, because
Mhm.
that's literally an open hole to the throne, and
Yes.
we make sure to take care of it. And that was something too that mattered, because continue to have my pH balance and stuff like that. That ain't stuff we really grew up talking about, but
Mhm.
I knew I needed to figure it out. You know, things just like other women, little as a teenage girl, you know, you like, what exactly is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is happening?
What you know what, when it comes to of someone who is pregnant, how far along can they be able to, can they get waxes, and how far along can they to until they probably can no longer do it, like their third trimester, or does it even matter?
I wax women all the way up into labor, to be completely, if
What?
it's possible. Yeah, I wax women literally all the way up until it's possible. If I've had a woman come and then the very next day she had her baby.
Ah,
So I've definitely
it's not sensitive, Star.
it's sensitive, but hey, I mean, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Because it's,
Yeah.
in reality, you want to still get waxed. Most women, because if not, they're gonna shave you, if we're being honest, right? If not, they're
Yeah.
gonna shave you. And most women do not want to be shaved.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I still wax them. As
Yeah.
long as it's not too much. I mean, I've had some complications. I've had a woman one time tell me that I did 2 strips and she was done. She was like, you know what? But it's funny because most of the time when I'm doing women like that, I always start on their bikini line. So if they back out on me, at least the bikini line is real natural. Like, I'm like, at
Yes.
least got that.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
try to do it that way. But yeah,
Mhm.
you can actually technically wax all the way up until it's time. You
Mhm.
can't do vajacials now. I don't do vajacials for
Oh,
women
okay.
because the steam and stuff. I try not to do vajacial, but I do the waxing up until the
Mhm.
9-month mark.
Yeah. What do you love about being a Black woman?
Everything. I love being a Black. Obviously, I mean, I love the skin that I'm in, because
Yes.
our skin is beautiful and luxurious and all of that. So we're gonna start there.
Mhm.
But I just love the resilience that comes along with being a Black woman. I love that we have the ability to be strong, but we have the ability to also be soft and nurturing.
Yes.
And I love that Black women, we hold it down, we hold each other together. I love that we can be a rock and a community for one another, you know, and I love that that's actually changing. That, because remember, for a long time, it's like it's always been communities where it was happening, but there were a lot more communities where it was not happening.
Yes. Yes.
So it is a beautiful thing that now that's changing, you know, that Black women, we're coming together, you know, we
Mhm.
are actually supporting one another, and we are building with each other, and it's not what it used. Everything's not as much of a competition, you know, and I just love being a part of that tribe. I love
Yes, me too.
that
Mhm.
this is the time that I can be a Black woman. You know,
Yes.
it's a wonderful time to be a Black woman. And so I just love, that's why I say, when I say everything, I just love everything that, you know, a Black woman does embody, for sure.
Mhm. And what's your favorite feature of yourself?
Of myself,
Mhm.
funny enough, probably this big old smile.
Yes, me both.
This smile, this gap, these, you
Yes.
know, yes, definitely, because you know what, it was the hardest thing for me to love at first. Because, you
Mhm.
know, being a kid, kids is cruel.
They
Kids
are. Oh my gosh.
kids are real, real cruel. And so they make you feel bad about yourself.
Or not even something that you didn't even recognize was it. It's
Yeah.
insecurity that you're just like, is that
Yeah.
like it makes you
Right.
think
Right.
because
It's
your
like,
parents are like, you're beautiful. Oh my God, you're so cute. And you have your family members and everyone. And then when you meet someone who's a complete stranger, you're like, is this what the world will see me as? Like, you know?
Right. Definitely. Because kids gonna let you know.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely at a place now where, you know, I definitely I'm past all of that. And I try to celebrate every part of me, girl, every extra few pounds I got, every little thing that maybe someone else don't see as perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I like to try to celebrate it and love on it because we are all perfect. And I love being a part of that movement and even teaching other women that they are also, you know, perfect and that they are also, you know, worthy. So
mm-hmm. What's a takeaway beauty secret that you can share with our viewers?
A takeaway beauty secret.
And it doesn't have to be physical.
Girl, wash your pillowcases. Seriously. Literally the best beauty advice. Just something small. Just wash your pillowcases more often.
Right.
Because you lay on your pillows are getting all that dust, all that dirt, all that. Keep them clean, keep your face clean.
Yeah.
It'll definitely help. And also just speak life into yourself too, because that's not physical, but it does so much for you on the inside and outside. Just look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself like 3 things that you just like about yourself.
Yeah.
And just see how that helps change how you view yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and make sure that one of them is that you are beautiful, because you got to believe it first.
Right.
You have to believe it first before anybody else will believe it. You just have to. So those are my little tips.
Yes. Star, give us all your handles and where everyone can reach out and even make an appointment with you.
Definitely. We are booking. We are open for the holidays. Me and Tiara, we are good. Me and my girl, we are here ready. You can find me at on Instagram at the THEE_Vagina Whisperer. You can find the business at the THEE_V Suite. So both of those are Instagram. We're on Facebook, the V Suite as well. That's the biz. So the V Suite. We're on TikTok, the V Suite. Everything's the V Suite or the Vagina Whisperer. You can make an appointment with me on all of those handles. I have my website. My website is thevaginawhisperer.com. So you can purchase all products. You can book appointments on there. We do shipping nationwide. You can also, if you're local, you can always pick up from us. Right. So yeah, we're everywhere. We're all over.
And just to clarify, the V Suite is the letter V or is it
letter V?
Okay, the letter V. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Star. Thank you so much for your time.